Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out GITGUDRacing.com, where I'm offering the most accessible coaching sessions on the market.
Now for the track guide. For turn 1 I use as a reference for braking the 50-meter board. I want to brake slightly past it. I would say it would be safer to brake in between 100 and 50, but just a bit closer to the 50. However, I push my braking marker a lot more, and I'm using this exit road on the right, to the right of the white line, to open up the corner. Even on the initial approach, I'm aligning as much as I can to the white line, but I'm trying to put my tires past it. Like at this moment I'm very close to the wall. That's because I will take a more diagonal line towards the first corner, so I would try to stay as close as I can to the white line, but you see the white line opens up a bit more once you go forward around where my pointer is. But nevertheless, the 50 is the reference for braking. I'm picking the threshold braking past the 50, and I'm very close here to the white line and to the grass. You need to open up this corner a lot because you will be able to carry few extra kph into the corner, and this will help a lot. So it's a heavy braking zone initially, downshifting to third, then second, but the moment that the road goes a bit downhill, here you'll have a bit more grip in this part. And because you have more grip, you have to release the brake. So look what's happening. Around the curb, where I'm using second gear, I quickly release. So the speed of the release in this part was way higher than it was here or here when I was holding the pressure. So if you're gonna hold the brakes longer, you're gonna overslow the car more, and the car won't turn as much. Instead, what you want is to release the brakes, but keep holding like 10%, 5% brakes, like the trail brake right here, until you feel the car can take the line in which you're gonna use all this curve. Because the moment that I'm gonna be on throttle, and you should be as early as you can on throttle here, this will gain you a lot since it's a big straight ahead. So as a reference, you can use this green part of the curve. The moment you stop to see it, like right now, it's almost finished. Right now you should be back on throttle, and I'm pushing the throttle, I'm using all this curve, and my goal is to reach 100% throttle and do the smallest correction possible on the throttle, meaning lifting as low as I can get away with. So right now I'm at 100% and I'm upshifting to third, and then I will try to the end of this complex of corners to hold 100% throttle. If you're gonna have here around 50, 60, 17% throttle, and you're gonna maintain that limping throttle, you're gonna lose a lot of time. So holding 100, a small lift here on this curve, and then it's full flat out by using all this curve. Now for the next corner, I use this concrete on the right, this exit road on the right, to brake. I want to brake the moment that I arrive at it. Like right now I'm braking, or slightly past it, slightly before it, you can apply the brakes. And brake initially in a straight line, but the moment that the car slows a bit, try to take a later apex. If you're gonna apex early here, it's gonna be tough on the exit. You can easily get an off track on the exit. So here is more about trying to keep the car in the track limits rather than pushing. So what I do is I try to apex as late as possible. So right now, right here, it's an early apex. The later you can be, meaning almost close to this concrete exit on the left, the better it's gonna be. And you have to use a lot of this curve. You can cut a lot more, and this will hook the car nicely and will push it a bit more to the left, because otherwise you will get an off track if you carry this speed. So in your mind, you should aim to cut this curve almost to the grass, like right that. Be mindful that you can put one tire to this curve, but if your tire goes on the green, so it's past this curb, it's gonna be an off track. I'm not keen on using this much curb right here, just because how easy it is to get an off track, especially in qualifying. So I would suggest, in qualifying at least, in your mind, don't think about that this curb exists. You can apex at the white line and you'll be just fine. But if you're gonna go just slightly past the white line, you'll be okay as well. Like right now I'm using just a bit of curb, but any more than that and it's gonna be an off track. For the next corner, I'm using this left building on here as a reference for braking. The moment that I'm not seeing it, like right now, I'm applying the brakes, and this is a long trail braking corner, and it's a double apex corners because you just want to keep the car rolling into the corner. You want to make it turn, but also want to throw it and try to carry the speed. So applying slight brakes and now just trailing to the apex. This is the first apex. I'm downshifting to third the moment that I reach the apex. This is very important because this will give you the rotation that you need. And now after the trail brake around in the middle of the corner, I'm going to 100% throttle. I'm taking some time to build it because I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it to this corner. But I think if I would have practiced a bit more, I wouldn't make this big drop in throttle. Like I would maybe maintain it but not drop it like this and then arrive at 100% earlier. That's what I'm suggesting to do. Because you want to cut this curb since you treat it as a double apex, meaning you take this curb first, now you want to be close to the other curb here, and now you just want to push your car wider. You want to use a lot of the exit curb on the left. So staying at 100% throttle helps a lot, upshifting to fourth. And the moment that I straighten up the car, like right now, I'm braking and turning. And then downshifting to second. So it's very important to time this braking because you don't have a reference point for braking. The moment you feel your car is almost straight, like right now, it's not, like for example, few frames here. Here you're pointing to the left, your car is going to the left. This is not a good moment to start braking, but the moment that it's a bit more straight, then yes, brake and turn. The off-track limit is the middle of the car past the drain here, so be mindful of that. And I'm downshifting to third and I delay my second downshift because I want to get that rotation a bit later in the corner. So I'm rotating right now with the second downshift. And this will give you a bit of more rotation while taking the apex, because if you would have tried to downshift, let's say this is the first downshift and you would downshift it here, this would be weird to do. It will be a lot difficult. But if you just wait a bit more with the downshift, then you will get this rotation, because ultimately what you want is almost touch the grass with your right tires. So you see you're cutting a lot of this curb, pushing to 100% throttle. I'm hitting now the rev limiter. Not sure if this is a good idea, but I think that going for third gear just for half a second is not worth it. I didn't try it though, so you can try. If you see you're hitting rev limiter a bit sooner than I did, go to third, but then you will have to downshift around here to second. And notice that this is a small trail brake. Like I'm starting to brake to make the front tires point, and the moment that I take this curb, and I'm using a lot of curb, I'm just being back to 100% throttle, using this curb on the exit. And for the next corner, I'm aligning with this tree on the left side. I want to open up the right hander as much as possible, so I'm going at the white line, and whenever I'm this close to the tree, I'm applying the brakes. Notice that at turn-in, I'm using all the track, meaning I'm almost hitting the grass on the left. This is very important, and it's the same concept. This was the first downshift, and when I'm arriving closer to the curb, I'm doing the second downshift. So use a bit of a lazier downshifts in this corner because you will get a lot of rotation out of it. Cutting as much curb as I can here, so a late apex, cutting much of the curb, going to 100% throttle. Don't put your tire on the left. If you hit the curb or this part here, it's gonna be an off track, so I'm always trying to avoid here. And this is the place where I do a big mistake in the lap, which costed me 3/10, which was huge, but I didn't have time to do another lap, so I will just point out what was wrong. I take this line, I turn in way too early, so you want to keep the car a bit more straight around here, so push it a bit more to the center and then turn in. This was an earlier turn in, and the moment I realized that it's gonna be was too early, it means I will run out of track on the exit. So I have to do this lift on throttle and then another one. You see, so this is 1/10.5 with these lifts, and because now I have a weird positioning, I take the next corner more cautiously than I would have had. So just remind yourself to not cut this curb this early. This was way too early around here. Your goal is to have almost flat out. Like, you can have a small lift. Let's say, for example, if you do this lift that I did here, right here, but without the second one, it will be all right. Now for the braking and car positioning, you want to use all this track for the next corner. The off-track limit is you putting your right tires on the blue drain. So as long as you're not hitting the blue drain, it's not gonna be an off-track. Now for the braking, from here you can notice there are some greener parts on this exit road to the right of the white line. This is the first one, there's one in the middle, and there's one around here, this grass. I brake at the middle one. So when I'm approaching it, I am going and I'm seeing here this greener part. I'm braking on top of it, and then I'm trail braking, trying to cut as much as I can of this curb. And you should be early on throttle for this corner. Like, I'm on throttle even before cutting the curb. This is an important thing to practice. So if you're gonna be on throttle here, that's already too late, you see. So earlier you'll be, the better it's gonna be. Use all the track on the exit, and now when arriving at the finish line, you just want to hug this white line from the left side. So don't go past the middle of the track, you will get pushed more to the middle around here, but then go back to the white line and take this short line. And in short, that's a track guide of Interlagos, Brazil. I wish you a great week ahead, and I'll see you on the next one.